A military commander observes an early warning radar blip approaching a critical command node at Mach 10. The flight time from detection to impact is less than 15 minutes. This eliminates the buffer for traditional diplomatic verification or human consultation. It is physically impossible for defensive sensors to peer inside a sealed missile casing mid-flight. There is no way to know if the payload is an inert tungsten rod or a multi-megaton nuclear warhead. Simultaneously, a parallel crisis unfolds. The commander's undersea retaliatory forces, the ultimate guarantee of a second strike, are actively compromised by autonomous tracking networks. The physical laws of hypervelocity strikes, combined with transparent multi-domain sensor networks, have destroyed the 20th century firewall separating conventional and nuclear conflict. Because of this inescapable ambiguity, military infrastructure is mathematically and technologically forced into a posture of accidental escalation. Historically, destructive power was defined by chemical explosives, which max out around 4.18 megajoules per kilogram for TNT. This graph plots velocity against specific energy density. At hypersonic speeds, momentum overtakes chemical yield. At Mach 8.8, solid metal equals its weight in TNT. Mach 10 surpasses TNT by 1.4 times. At Mach 20, it delivers 5.6 times the TNT explosive yield. This extreme quadratic multiplier means regional militaries can achieve strategic, nuclear-scale destructive yields using solid metal without splitting a single atom. A common misconception assumes hypersonic kinetic weapons act like drill bits, penetrating infinitely into subterranean Earth. The physical limits of structural integrity dictate otherwise. At impact speeds over 1,500 meters per second, the decelerative impact forces immediately exceed 10 gigapascals. That level of pressure shatters the compressive yield strength of high-strength steel, reinforced concrete, and solid granite. This diagram illustrates the Tate-Alexeyevsky equation and hydrodynamic ablation. Under extreme pressure, the solid penetrator and target materials flow dynamically like fluids. This instantly transfers deceleration shock waves exceeding 50,000 Gs, radiating downward and crushing the subterranean structure well below the impact crater. Hydrodynamic ablation grants non-nuclear weapons the capability to decapitate buried strategic command centers, bypassing the political taboo of radioactive fallout. The traditional backbone of global strategic stability has long been the assured second strike capability provided by nuclear ballistic missile submarines hidden in the open ocean. But the ocean's acoustic opacity, the stealth sanctuary that protected these massive platforms, is deteriorating. Orbital synthetic aperture radar constellations are now capable of detecting microscale internal waves on the ocean's surface, caused by submerged hulls. Beneath the surface, AI-enhanced seabed hydrophone grids and autonomous gliders continuously map the thermocline. They isolate faint reactor coolant pump noise from the commercial background clutter. This transparency creates an asymmetrical economic and tactical threat to crewed submarines, extra-large unmanned undersea vehicles, like the Ghost Shark. This matrix shows the brutal cost ratio. A $3.5 billion Virginia-class nuclear submarine can have its stealth compromised by a drone that costs $15 million. Adversaries deploy these cheap drone swarms as persistent, loitering acoustic tripwires across narrow maritime choke points and base exit channels. If autonomous swarms shadow a submarine from the exact moment it leaves port, the vessel is effectively neutralized before it ever reaches the deep ocean. Tracking these submarines erodes the guarantee of a retaliatory strike. It strips defending nations of their ultimate deterrent and severely raises crisis instability risks. This flowchart outlines the 1965 Stability-Instability paradox. It theorized the terror of mutual nuclear destruction, created a safe space to fight conventional wars under a rigid nuclear umbrella. Modern aerospace architectures invert this logic completely. Conventional warfare now pierces directly through that umbrella. The first catalyst is dual-use ambiguity. A Mach 10 airframe looks mathematically identical on early warning radar, whether carrying kinetic tungsten or a multi-megaton payload. The second catalyst is trajectory ambiguity. Hypersonic glide vehicles maneuver non-ballistically in the atmosphere, making it impossible to calculate their intended target until the final terminal dive. The third catalyst is temporal compression. The traditional flight time has collapsed from a safe 30-minute verification buffer down to mere minutes. The targeted commander faces total command decapitation, with no time to consult leadership or verify the weapon's payload. Waiting for physical impact to verify the weapon risks losing the command structure necessary to order a counterstrike entirely. This use it or lose it panic means a localized conventional hypersonic strike on an airfield is structurally indistinguishable from a nuclear first strike. It forces immediate nuclear retaliation. The 15-minute window has officially expired. Modern deterrence is governed by the raw math of velocity, sensor transparency, and the vanishing margin of human time. The technological speed of hypersonic and autonomous warfare has outpaced legacy human diplomatic verification protocols. The data demands strict global prohibitions against integrating artificial intelligence or machine learning into nuclear command, control, and communications decision loops. Maintaining a mandatory physical human in the loop is the final defense against algorithmic launch-on-warning cascades driven by sensor ambiguity. The secondary safeguard requires establishing binding international launch transparency notifications for dual-use platforms to eliminate mid-flight payload ambiguity. Adapting global grand strategy to the unforgiving physics of the 21st century, prioritizing defensive realism and extreme technical restraint, is the only path left to prevent accidental global annihilation.